What's going on, everybody, and welcome back for a new video. Today's video is going to be a little bit about velocity and fusion, power. This right here is one of my personal 230s. This one down here is the 160. They all have 288 power. If you go ahead and take a look right here, we're gonna count this dispenser, 288. And the same it is over here. I scaled this down a little bit to have 288 power. There we go, 288 power. So this right here is the 160. If it's a nuke, you can download that on my channel if you want to. But first of all, let's go ahead and press the button and fly all the way over here. There we go. Now that didn't work. It did stack a little bit, but not all the way up. So before we continue this video here, I quickly want to explain a little bit more about why the efficiency nuke you saw didn't work, and just trying to explain exactly what happens. So in this case, we're gonna have two pieces. We can count the slap burst, which is right next to the sand. Hopefully that is not too confusing. So that's the slap burst. This is right to the sand. It comes in right there. Then we have the hammer. Now, all this goes to the top whenever we shoot it out, so let's move it to the top. Also, let's imagine that this distance from this stone right here and all the way over to here is greater than a few blocks, let's say 25 chunks or 20 chunks, it's really up to you. So here's why it didn't really work. All this right here, this sand right here and this slap burst right here getting a massive boost because all the power is right here, you know. So all this is getting fired out with high velocity. In this case, it's going to be a filter. I'm just going to quickly do this just to mark up it's a flat wall. So it's getting out with a high velocity, and it hits right here. All this, like all the sand and all the slap burst is getting right here, so that works fine. Now, because this hammer right here, this right here is far away from the power. So as soon as it starts firing out, at some point before it hits the wall, before it shoots all this distance, it's gonna dip. Now it's not gonna dip one block at a time. It's going to be like you wouldn't even be able to see it, but it starts dipping a little bit. And hopefully not dipping a full block, but you get what I mean. So in this case, let's say that, So in this case, let's say that this nether brick right here is now the TNT. So if you place that on top, you will see how half of this slab is down. As you can see, this is a full slab. Half of this TNT from the hammer, which should have been up here, is now halfway down on this sand right here. And that is why you see it only stacking half of it. You see this as well when you are cannoning filters. Let's go do that. There we go. So sometimes when you're cannoning filters, you experience that you need to put a slab into your hammer. And in some cases, I'm pretty sure it's right here actually. Nope, it's not, but it could have been. But you will experience that sometimes. Let's me quickly make sure I mark this right out. Yep, here we go. So on this folder right here, we need to change this to a slab. So you're basically doing the exact same thing right now, because you're gonna have your, let's take sandstone. You're gonna have that right here. Boom. You're putting a slab into your hammer. And that is going to land halfway into this and halfway into this. That's why you can get it to stack. Now this is exactly the same happens when you don't have enough power, or if it's too great a distance between your power and your hammer. And it won't stack fully up, exactly as you saw on the 60 stack over there, 160 efficiency nuke. You see that it didn't stack fully up, and that's because it started to dip too much, meaning it got too much into the sand block right here, so it didn't stack fully up. Now you would probably be able to get through that wall without no problems if you shoot more than a few times, because was working. Some of the hammer was working, but some of it wasn't. That's because it's already into the block. Just like when you change your guider, it doesn't stack fully up. Then this one here doesn't stack fully up because the hammer, which is further away from the power than the sand and the slab boss, is starting to dip. And that is a very common issue, and that's basically the entire reason people are doing filters. That's because at some point you're gonna dip, and when you do, this filter here is going to say, hey mate, you got to stop that and figure out a solution, or else you won't get past me. And there's many solutions to this problem, many solutions. I'm not going to go over them today. I can do a different video, but there's plenty of things you can do to prevent this. And like I can even show you how you can get through filters if you cannot dipping, but we're not going to go into this. It's just I quickly stop in the video here just to kind of explain you what exactly happened. So 288 power. Let me fly back here. We're shooting way further than 20 chunks, by the way. This one here's my personal 230. Let's go ahead and press that. It has 288 power. Here we are. Perfect. So both of them had 288 power. Only one of them made it. And that is because everything right here is too far away from the nuke. From the power. So the power goes right here. Gosh dang, people are calling me. The nuke, and in this case sand as well. The nuke doesn't matter. It has no effect on what we are doing right now. So we're just gonna count the sand. The sand is right here. The slap bust is right here, the hammer is right there. So, as you can see, some of it is way further away than the stuff up there, and I'm going to show that in a second. But just keep in mind that this is how it blows up. So this one here is 1, 2, 3 blocks away, as you can see. And of course the sand goes right here. Now we could have waited for it to dip a little bit, so it got around right there, but we didn't. Or I didn't. But it goes 20 chunks, and it even works after 20 chunks. It would like up to like 30 chunks or something like that. So it works just fine. And this up here, my personal 230, we have the power right here. We have the slap boss right here. We have the... Okay, in this case we're gonna count the slap boss and the sand in one block. And we have the hammer right here. So, before all this fires up, the power pushes it out, the sand would have fallen to just above the trapdoor. The same with the hammer, it's gonna fall a little bit as well, not too much, but just a little bit. And then it fires it out. So as you can see, everything right here is way closer to the power than the one at the finished nuke. And that's basically how you can shoot further and less dip if you have something close to the power. That's also how velocity fusion works. So imagine that you have your sand, imagine you have your hammer down right here, and then you have your sand right here, and then you have your slap boss right here. And I guess it's better to do like that. So velocity fusion works by having the sand and the slap boss closer to the power than your hammer, because whatever is closest to your TNT or to your power is getting more velocity or more speed, and that will end at the wall first. So in this case, the slap boss is going to end there, then the sand, and then the hammer all the way over here. So that's basically how velocity fusion works. If you have moved your hammer further away from the power, meaning that the sand and the slap boss will get to the wall first, it's gonna dip a little bit before the hammer gets there to fire it down. But that's basically how that works, velocity fusion. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about this. So if I can somehow get the sand right, undo. But you have it on page, right? Oh yeah, I do. So the reason this works is because everything is closer to the power than all the others, which makes a lot of sense, right? So it's not really necessary to do this on all your cannons. Like I don't do that on normal, like these right here. I have my dual SAN comp right here. I don't do it on these either. It's only if you want to be a bad boy, I guess, or want to be a cool guy, that you want to do that, or if you want to shoot further away than 20, 30, 40 chunks, it's a good idea to have it like this. But it's not really necessary. But there's many ways you can do this right here. Many ways you can do that. In this case, let me go ahead and show you out a little bit on how. So this right here is where the hammer comes in. Right here. And of course you're gonna have your hammer right here. And then I guess you'll need a stop right there. And then you can have your sand coming in. And then you can have your slap bus going in. Now if you do it like this, you can get your power all the way up to here, which is also fine. The one I use for the 230 up there is that I made it something like this. So I want to make sure I put that in the same block right there, and then we have the slap bust up there, and then we have, yep, there we go, and then we have that sand coming in right there. Now this method right here, you can get everything way closer to the things right there. So as you can see right here, that's pretty much it. So that's all you need. Not a ladder though, because you want to make sure it falls down as far down as possible. So this right here is a better setup if you want to shoot like far. But at 20 chunks, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter. Now there's other ways to do it as well. I just like on my cannons to have the slap bus last, because then you can reverse hybrid if you have the right amount of stabs and stuff like that. But it's not really something you need. But let's go ahead and build one more right here. Now you can have everything if you know how to do it. You can have everything closer, more closer than that. For an example, you can have everything one block away or like right next to it, but that requires for you to have your hammer going right here. Then you would need the slap bust with your sand compression coming in right here, and you can have everything like one block away or like right next to it, I guess. So you could do that as well. There's many ways to do it, many ways to do it, but this is just some of the ways. I have plenty of cannons and they're a little bit different. So you can go ahead and download them and you can check them out. They're all a little bit different. But basically, that was a little bit about velocity and a little bit about power. 288 power in each, shooting way further than 20 chunks. Only this one worked because we had it this close. This helps on greater distance. This won't really help if you're shooting 10 chunks. It wouldn't really be worth it. So if you're shooting further, I suggest using this, I guess. But this one here is just fine for normal faction cannons. This one up here is for like if people have a ridiculous amount of buffers outside the base. I guess you can use this. But this is more like a normal cannon. It shoots 20, 30 chunks, and it's just like more comfy to use, I guess. Besides this one here, this is a little bit more complex. But that was just a little bit about velocity and power. Hope you guys enjoyed this video here, and if you do, remember to like this video here and comment down below if you have any questions, suggestions, whatsoever. And as always, guys, remember to subscribe to my channel. My name is Dexter, and I'm out.